Hey everyone, it's Emily Vavra. I am fired up. I just got off of the Resilient Mind podcast with Eric Balance, and we talked about so many things. Oh my goodness. I love talking about, what it takes to be successful. I love we really dove in, which I'm not used to, a lot about spirituality, faith, how to really exercise that muscle, how to have a breakthrough, network marketing, so many things. So check it out.
Welcome everybody to the Resilient Minds podcast. I'm pumped and excited to be here with the amazing Emily Vavra. How are you?
I'm awesome. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing excited. We've been trying to get online, since last week, but I was in a hurricane. So it ended up, I'm grateful that we were able to make it happen this week. And I'm excited to be able to bring you on the show, talk a little bit about, what you're up to and how resilience has been a profound impact in your life. So I'm going to, for those of you that aren't familiar with Emily, I'm going to go through, all the amazing things she's up to in her world. And we'll get at it because, Emily, she's based in LA. She's a wellness leader, a speaker. She's continuing to pave the way for others as one of the top network marketing professionals right now. Internationally renowned, self-made millionaire. She sought out to really look after, her raw, her genuine, her authentic guidance and connection. So you guys are in for a treat because her training and the way that she inspires people, is focused so much on results and implementing action, which this is all what we're about here at the Resilient Minds. And after she started, network marketing business at the age of 23 in 2010, she was able to, leave her massage therapy career as well as her job as a second nanny. And today, through all that resilience, has been able to emphasize and help more than 150,000 people achieve physical transformations, improved health, and developing wealth and financial freedom. So I'm super excited for you guys that are listening right now because Emily is a resilient thought leader. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm so pumped.
I love talking, with somebody that's, had that 9 to 5 and experienced, the life of, I guess, the living inside of a box, that I believe that so many of us have to. And I'm not saying it's negative because some people love it.
Right.
I'm just saying, I feel that it's it's such a container. And I think that, expanding our containers, every day is a must in our life. Like Tony talks about constant never ending improvement. And on the Resilient Minds here, I always discover and really want to assess our experiences in our lives. And because I believe that those experiences become our X factor. They become our X factor in a powerful way, and they contribute to our big why, our passion, our purpose. So I'd love to know some of your experiences, and I'm certain there are so many people that are listening right now or coming back listening to the replay about what is it that was a defining moment for you, your experience of life that allowed you to see the possibilities of why.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so deep. And oh my goodness, I've been in entrepreneurship now for 10 years. And I think back when I was in my early 20s, when I was working for someone else. I was working for a doctor, rehabbing major weight loss patients, doing massage. I was nannying on the side. I was running all over the place. I was raised by a single mom, and I was always taught to work hard. Like, no one's going to do anything for you. You got to get it done. But I had no idea of entrepreneurship. I hadn't read books. I hadn't had a lot of great mentors in my life. My dad left when I was 1. I mean, it was just a lot of toxicity growing up, and You know, when I met a woman who was living by example, she was living the life that I wanted, so it seemed anyways, that's when my mindset shifted and I became curious. I became wildly curious, and I met this woman at the gym, a Sunday workout session, and she was just different, Eric. She had a different way about her. Her energy was different. Her attitude was different. She was just someone you wanted to be around. And I was like, what is up with this person? Like, I don't understand. I'm attracted to her. And not in that way, but I'm attracted to her.
Yeah.
And so I followed her on
that
social
energy.
Yeah, it was just an energy, an essence. And
Yeah.
so I followed her. I was like, what do you do? And I saw that she started a health and wellness business, and she was in mortgage banking. And the last crash in the US, she got laid off. And so she was starting to build her own business. And she was, you know, working out at noon on a Monday. And she was, at that time in my life, I lived in Minnesota. That's where I'm originally from. And she was like leaving the dead of winter to go, you know, travel. And she just looked really fulfilled. And that's when I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm literally that hamster on the hamster wheel right now. Like, I'm just every single day, like Monday, I'm like commuting to work and I'm like, let's do this. And I'm staring at the time clock. Literally, I remember clocking into work and I would just be like, okay, it's noon. Now I get to eat. And then, you know, I had to ask to go pee. Like, I literally had to ask to go to the bathroom. And then, you know, Wednesday it was hump day. And I'm like, so ecstatic that it's the midweek. And then Friday it was like, thank God I finally have 48 hours to do what lights my soul on fire. And it was just like this, like I was just like this hamster. And so finally I was like, this woman I met at the gym, I gotta figure out what she does. And so I started to ask questions, and that was my defining moment. It was like, wow, there's another way. I didn't know that. You know, I didn't KNOW. It's what I just didn't know. And so I got educated, and that is what changed my life. And obviously there's been tons of other defining moments, but that one for sure was like, do you want to go to the left? Do you want to go to the right? You know, like, what way do you want to go? And I decided to pivot.
What were some of the power questions that you asked this lady? Because I think that, you know, I always say is like, the quality of our questions determine the quality of our results. You know, the quality of our questions determine the quality of our relationships, the quality of our life, the quality of really everything that we want. So I'm curious to know, for anybody that like is listening, you know, what were some of these questions you were asking this amazing lady, or maybe even yourself?
So I started to ask her all about her job and how she started it. And I didn't know that it was network marketing, by the way. I had no idea. All I wanted was to help people. And she just looked fulfilled. So I said, hey, her name's Holly. I said, can we go to coffee? And we met up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I sat there and I just started to drill her with questions. I was like, how does this work? What do you mean? I kept saying, what do you mean? Can you draw? I'm very visual. Can you show me? I wanted to know how the compensation plan worked. I'm like, okay, what's residual income? I had no idea what residual income was. And I think most people don't. And I was just like, okay, explain that again. And I was asking, I was that annoying girl, but you know, I believe that she loved it because she saw that I was hungry and curious. Right. And so, you know, I asked, like, how long did it take you to achieve this income? What does it look like? What's your day-to-day look like? And then I ended up asking her, would you mentor me? And you know, what would be required of me if you were to mentor me? And so again, I started to go with it, asking all these questions. And I do that with anyone I ever meet. I love to find out, you know, especially if they're living their ideal life, I want to know, how did you get there? What did that look like? What did you have to go through? And that's one thing. It always sounds like glamorous and stuff, but I love that this is the Resilient Mind podcast, because she talked a lot. You're going to have to go through a lot of no's. There's going to be really hard days. And she was very honest with me about that. And so, she set me up for success with the expectations. Because a lot of people in my profession, they make it look really easy, really sleazy, and that's just not the case.
I think that that's a profound, pivot there where now you really have seen the why. And, when I talk about my why, it's about, really helping people see that it's outside of the box that you get to start creating your own rules. It's outside of the box with asking these questions that you get to see something that somebody has really, held, either you've learned or you have to unlearn based off of past experiences or our parents' conditions or social conditioning. And to me, I'm really very excited about helping people uncover what's possible. So now with network marketing, there's this common fallacy where, oh, it's a scheme or pyramid, all these negative connotations.
Right.
And you know what? And it's so fascinating because I know tremendously some of the most successful people on the face of this earth that are crushing it, yourself included, with network marketing. So why is it that, you do what you do today, and why do you feel like network marketing is the way?
So good. So good. Yeah. And with anything in life, think about all the things, right? Real estate, chiropractic, no matter what, there is going to be bad people in every profession, right? And the thing with network marketing is times have changed. The world has changed. And so if you're someone listening or watching and you're like, that's me, I can't stand network marketing, I'm going to ask you why. Like, straight up, what's your deal? Were you somebody that bought a box 20 years ago and then it sat on your counter and you never treated it like a business, and so now you blame it on the profession even though you never went to work on it and you just expected this thing to grow itself? Is that the reason why? Because most people that get into it, if they're not taught like this is a real business, this is going to take hard work, this is a 5-year commitment type of thing, they oftentimes think this is just a get rich quick scheme. And if that's the mindset around it, then you're going to be set up for failure, obviously. But now, I mean, it's one of the fastest growing professions in the world. Why? Because we all have a smartphone. We're in the sharing economy. That's literally what we do, the referral based economy. And so, if you look worldwide, the entire world is 331 billion with a B, not just in the United States. I work in South Korea, Europe, all over the place, where this profession is allowing ordinary people to bring in an extra income. And oftentimes, Eric, we talk a lot about the 6 and the 7 figures, but what I am passionate about is helping families bring in an extra $500 a month, or $1,000 a month, where they can pay the mortgage, which is significant, especially in times like these. And so what I would say, I'd go back to, what's your holdup? And maybe you just don't know, you don't have an understanding of really how it works. And, I love it because it's an incubator for personal development. Really, why I'm obsessed with it. And I don't have to work anymore. Like, I don't, but I do, because I could only survive a couple days on the beach and then I would get real bored. Okay. Well, I am obsessed with the development, because a lot of people, they come into it, and in my case, I'm in health and wellness. They come in, they want to drop 10 pounds, they want some gains, whatever. We put them on a program, and then I show them, hey, there's more to it. Here's a compensation plan. Here's a way to create a little bit of wealth if you want it. Student loan bills, whatever. And they come in and they are forced to grow, and they're put into this growth environment in this incubator, and it allows them to grow. And that's why so many of the greats have been attracted. So many people, Tony Robbins has spoken at our events before, many times I've shared the stage with him. Richard Branson, I've gotten to work with him. So many of the greatest minds have been involved in the industry. Brendan Bouchard has spoken at our events, you name it, because it is such a great place for people to grow. and a culture that they can be a part of something bigger than themselves and they can grow together. Because I think a lot of us, Eric, I know me in the beginning, I had no mentors. I felt really alone. I felt like, am I the only one that like can't sleep at night because I have dreams, but I have no idea how to fulfill them? And am I the only one? Like, it feels lonely when you want all that and you don't know how to get there. And so that's, I could talk forever about this, but
I love that. I think that, that's a profound journey to be on, is really that evolution for our future in the current moment. And I believe that what changes in our beliefs is really seeing a bigger vision. And when you have a community of like-minded individuals, like you're saying, not just a mentor, but also people that are around you that are also looking to get, that's where you start to, vibrate at a new level. And I always share is like, vibration, the frequency that we work at, or we really believe in, or will precede anything that we manifest into our life, into our daily life. And we need to truly live at that level, because that's what's going to give us the courage, the compassion, the desire to be resilient in these times of uncertainty, just like right now. Right? So when you kind of went through those experiences without having a mentor and, a community, what changed in your beliefs to say, listen, I need somebody to really help me, guide me, show me the way that will help me amplify this burning desire within myself to get me to the next stage?
Yeah. I think success leaves clues, and, through asking questions and observing, I started to observe a lot, and I would see like, wow, like these people are crushing it in these areas. Like how are they doing? I always want to know how. Like, I'm just like, and so I would see that, they're earning time from their mentor. They're showing up. There's an equal energy exchange. And, it's not just like, help me, like, someone help me. Someone's going to show up at my door in the morning and make sure I get up early and make sure I'm crunching my numbers. Like, I knew I had to earn a spot at the table. Like somebody who's already successful, somebody that's already, crushing it. They're not just, they don't just have time for anyone. And now I experience that in my own life. Right. And so I'm like, how can I add value to this person to get them to want to work with me? And, how can I show up? And what I realized is very successful people, they have a high frequency. Like every day I work so hard on myself so I can show up and I can have that high frequency and I can show up with love and just be so intentional in everything I do. But in the beginning, I wasn't like that. So I observed and I'm like, why is she so different? Why is she vibing at such a different level? And I'm like, if I'm going to earn the right to be around her, I have to raise my frequency. So that way she actually wants to be around me so I don't drag her down. So that's when I started to shift my belief level. And I read the book, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And
oh my God, you have not, what? When did you read that?
10 years ago.
Oh my God, that was the start. Holy cow, you just like hit a soft spot for me.
Really?
That was like the beginning of my journey, T. Harv.
Me
Holy
too.
Cow. Ah!
So that was my first personal development book ever. Ever. And that is awesome. But I started to read it and I was like, okay, no blaming, no complaining, no justifying. And I was like, shit, I'm like, this is like, I've been like blaming a lot of people for everything. And so that's when I started to shift. And my gosh, like, that's when I started to be welcomed in and it wasn't a money thing. Like I wasn't even making money then. It was just, hey, you got it. You're hungry. You're coachable. You're committed. You have a good attitude. Let's go to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's let's go to work. Let's make this happen. Having that willingness to persevere, even if there's the uncertainty of how, just the what and the why was hungry enough, right? because it's like that tyranny of how many of us we get stuck to like figuring it. We need to know all the answers before we started. No, it's the opposite. We need to just trust and persevere. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And if anything, we know that if anybody's starting, we know that they need to go read the book Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, right?
For sure. Or even read it once a year. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Wow. Yes, absolutely. So if you could send a message to somebody that's starting right now or to yourself 10 years ago, what would you tell them or yourself?
Oh man, so many things. So when I started, I ended up moving in with my mentor because I didn't have a place to live. And I was at a spot in my life where I didn't have a lot of extra money coming in at the time. And so I moved in with her. I had like a corner bedroom, a mattress on the floor. I didn't even have a bed frame. Okay. And I just committed. I committed to sacrifice. I committed to the journey. And what that looked like was, for me, any excess money I had went back into my own personal development and went into events, books, things like that. I did not spend money on clothes, on excess for pretty much almost 2 years. And because I didn't have the liberty to go, okay, I'm going to buy this and do this and go to an event and buy a plane ticket. I had to choose. And so one of my gifts is being futuristic. And so I saw into the future. If I work hard now, I can live a life that most never will in 5 years. And that's the mindset that I had. And so what I did is I looked at all my associations. And at that time in my life, I was 23, and I looked around and I was like, who am I letting like come into my life and kind of shift my feelings a little bit, my mindset, who's dragging me down? And I became guarded, and in a good way. When I say that, I started to really value who was around me, and I only hung out with people that appreciated who I was, supported my goals. And if they didn't, I did not hang out with them. It's just like I protected it and protected myself so much. And I always like visualize putting armor on every single day. Like I put my breastplate on, I have my freaking sword, I have my helmet. Like that's really what's required, because no matter what age we're at, there's so many distractions. The media, look at the news, look at your friends. Some of you are living with people that pull you down, right? And so I started to really, every day just imagine myself with the armor on. I would lock into my vision. And for the past decade, I've been making vision boards. And it's not just something I make to feel good. Like it's a daily practice for me, like looking at it, visualizing it, feeling it. Why do I want those things? And, my first vision board, I wrote myself a check for $1 million. And it's not because I want to be like a millionaire. It's because of the freedom that would come with that. And the feelings, like how would I feel to be able to contribute to a school in Africa that I did? Like how do I feel paying my bills? How do I feel contributing to someone else's life when they're in need? Like it's that. And so I made the vision board, daily method of operation. It's so boring. It's so boring at times, but I committed to it. I committed to the numbers. People are not numbers, but what I do, it's a true numbers game. And I just went to work on the main thing, the activity. So instead of like learning all the time, which I feel like, Eric, a lot of people do, I got into action, because that's how you learn the fastest, by activity. And so if you're new, like all these things I'm throwing at you, I would look at your associations. I would look at like your daily method of operation. How are you waking up? How are you going to bed? I would lock in on your vision, and every single day, like dial it in, look at it, feel it, just envision it. Okay. And then put on your armor. And that's what I would do, because if you want to do anything out of the ordinary or extraordinary, it's what's required.
Absolutely. And I think that that's where, reality comes in. People, I think when we just the imagination or limitation, it takes the same amount of energy. And I love the fact how you really, you're visualizing and embodying that regularly, because that is, the energy that we're able to then cultivate around us and find more individuals that are doing the same things or vibrating, like I said earlier, at the same level, which is why you are where you are today. And I think vision boards have been such a predominant and important thing in my life as well. So I can totally relate to that. It's become, super important, or journaling, right? And really seeing the possibility be like in your mindset before you see it in your eyesight. And I find that that's been so important. So if anybody is out there, now you have a few tools that you can start seeing and create to start cultivating that type of rhythm in your daily, movement to really build and process what you want to achieve. So thank you for that, Emily.
Yeah.
I want to kind of shift gears for a sec and ask you, what excites you today? Like, what makes you laugh? What gets you going?
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, what excites me every single day, I'm very spiritual, and no matter what I have, none of that matters if I'm not connected. And so, that definitely excites me. It sounds so like basic, but it's life for me. And when I'm connected to God, to source, I'm getting all the answers of where I should go next in my life. And so, this year, 2021, I'm going to write a book, and I just launched during COVID, I launched itsemily.com, which is, it's like a blogging website that's all around style, faith, health, business, network marketing. So I'm doing that, speaking, like writing signature keynotes, things like that. That really excites me. I mean, really, I love, like, when we're not in quarantine and life is different, I love museums and art and concerts and experience and travel and taste, and those things excite me. Like, Amalfi Coast, like, I just put that on my board. I've never been. And like, just seeing art and seeing culture and style and creating. Like, I love to create. I love to make something up out of nothing. And know on the other side of it, like, this is going to help someone. And for me, like, in my life, like, I just feel like when I'm creating things and writing talks, I'm getting ready to write one and fly to Salt Lake City to film it. It's like, I always feel like, for me, like, it's not good enough unless someone's life has changed. And so that challenge excites me so much. Like, just like going, how can I help this person? Like, how is this going to change someone's life? And to me, like, that is the greatest fulfillment that I could ever have. And so I love a challenge. A challenge excites me. So just a few things.
And I love it. And I think those challenges is what continues to expand you. It seems like, you're always looking at this purpose. I remember so many times, like, most people are thinking of them as like, how do I create this stuff? Or how can I go out there and make something out of nothing? And those challenges are what defines us and allows us to create this massive legacy. I always love to share, it's like, build, a legacy, not a business. And that this way you'll always be able to cultivate something, right? So
yes.
What does that process look like when you're creating something? For anybody that's out there right now thinking, how can I create something out of nothing?
Yeah, well, it depends on what business model we're talking about. But one thing that I started doing is breathwork. I had no idea what this was 12 months ago. And again, it's the slowing down, because it's like we're always searching, but it's a lot of times like the answers or the creativity is inside of us. We just have to access it, right? And so I love like slowing down, taking a day, doing a breath work session, and then journaling and writing it all out and just brain dumping. And it depends on what it is we're talking about. But as soon as I knew we were going to be in quarantine, I was like, oh hell no. I was like, I'm going to make something of this, because otherwise I'm going to go crazy, but I was like, what could this be teaching me? What could this be doing for me? And I switched the whole thing. I was like, I'm going to make the most of this. And so that's when I was like, I'm going to create a website. And I was like, okay, what does this look like? And I was like, what are all the things that I love to talk about? And what do people ask me questions about? And so I'm always asking for feedback, looking for feedback. And I really pay attention to feedback. And so I'm like, oh, they're always asking me about faith. They're always asking me about style. I'm like, I've got men, women, everybody, like, does this look okay? Like, where can I get this at a good price? Like, I love that, And so I'm like, okay, feedback, network marketing questions until I'm blue in the face all day long. And so I just started to like write all this stuff out. And then, I reverse engineer it. What does that look like? How do I build something out? And I mean, yeah, I was doing photo shoots in COVID, and obviously they were wearing a mask, and I just did what I wanted to do. But I literally, if you really think about like, what do you look at that you like? What colors do you like? What like speaks to your soul? And it's like, build it around that, not what society thinks it should look like. Like, I'm a little different. I have my own style, but I don't care. Like, it's what excites my soul. Because otherwise, what's the point? Like, what is the point of all this?
Exactly.
And so I know that's kind of a roundabout answer, but I think it's like go ahead.
No, I think that what you're discovering and what if I'm just catching, it's like, build something around the values that you already like are capturing within yourself and you're excited about, right? Like, we create these best ideas, to start emphasizing those ideas based off of something that we love, right? And if we're creative about something that we love, we can start really being passionate about it. And that's where I think that, some of our best value show, like you talked about breath work, I'm also very spiritual, and I spend a lot of time really, breathing and meditating and really connecting to my creator. But that didn't happen immediately. That was something that allowed, through a process of continuing showing up, to really be able to like connect to source, so that, these values of like intention, integrity, presence, opportunity are cultivated through, I believe, a higher power, or through, I believe, consciousness. And that allows me to come up with great ideas, because now I'm clear, now I'm centered, now I'm focused. And so to me, that's where like what I'm hearing you say is the same thing, is I'm hearing you basically get focused, get clear, focus on your creative opportunities and really building upon that. Do you agree with that? Is that a fair statement?
100%. And what pains me, because I've felt it multiple times, if I'm not careful, all the time I have to reassess, refocus, is everyone is on their phones. And it's like you're literally in the echo chamber. Like, you're an echo of everything you're reading, everything you're listening to, and you never sit and think for yourself or feel for yourself. And so you just become this like echo, and you hit a wall because you start trying to do things that aren't in complete alignment with your soul. You're just doing it because you think it's the next thing you should do. But it's like, it's so important to slow down, to really assess things. And that's really what I've been trying to do a lot in the past year, I'd say. And I feel the happiest when I'm aligned,
Alignment, responsiveness rather than reaction. That's so beautiful. I love that. I can relate and resonate so powerfully with that. When you discovered this, what, when you're in this place and people show up to you, with that, because you're aligned, now you're focused. When people show, and I'm sure that it happens often, right? Like Emily, like you probably run into tons of people that have, opposite views. They look at things from a different perspective, a different
Right.
lens. How do you, when it comes to, instead of reacting, you're responding, how do you respond to these different opinions?
Yeah, whether it's about the work I do or someone's negative or whatever, I ask questions. It depends on how long I'm forced to be in a room with them. So, I can always like leave, and I do, or I just change the conversation, or I can tell sometimes that people are just hurting, and everyone, especially now, people are reacting differently. And it's like, you can tell things are coming up that people haven't resolved. And so I allow a lot of grace, because I wasn't always Miss, Patty Positive over here. Like, and so I allow that grace for sure, but I ask questions, and then, I definitely leave the situation. Like, there's a limited amount of time I can spend with certain people, because my mission on this earth is so much bigger. I'm just going to say it without even apologizing. It's so big that by me staying in a little corner with a group of negative people, it is not allowing me to serve and do what I'm called to do. And so I look at, my life as my calling. It's a must for me. And I'm honoring my creator by doing it. And so when it comes to like people taking me off course and things like that, yes, they're always going to be teaching me something, but honestly, like, if they're not adding to my life and it's beginning to be negative, I'm just like, peace out, homie, like, gotta go. Not for
Absolutely.
me, like, so.
I love that. So it's like we never allow ourselves, and I think that this is so powerful. You don't allow yourself to come down to that vibration. It's an absolute must for them to jump up to your vibration,
They have to.
right? And if they can't, then they just won't resonate with you, and that's fine. But that's their choice, right? And I think that is really powerful in like seeing your own value, seeing your own worth, seeing your own confidence, being in your power. And I think there's a lot of people that need to really resonate and believe in that, as being resilient, especially because sometimes it's the people around us that don't, not because they don't want us to grow, but because they're scared that that you're going to leave them, or, other people are also doing the best they have with the information that they currently, they know, because they don't know what they don't know. But what I'm understanding is that the more and more that, there's this improvement, and it's a must, because I think you come from that same school of thought, we realize that sometimes people are meant to be in your life for a reason and a season, and that's okay too.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful.
So you've given us such a beautiful path to success, right? And it's amazing to watch, your continuous improvement. And, I know that, we've kind of been talking here and there very sporadically. We really just the first time to like really connect deeply. Yeah. But what would you say would be one reason why people fail?
Oh, one reason. Because I coach so many people. I think, okay, in order to be successful in whatever area you're trying, build a business, relationship, whatever, you need total immersion. And if you want to have a quantum leap, or if you want to change, you have to be immersed in it. Okay. Like when I was going through hard times, I turned to my faith, and I realized that I hadn't been pursuing it like I should. And so I read books around it. I have a mentor in LA. I started to go there once a week, even twice a week. I hung out with people that are around the same beliefs as me, and I became immersed in it. And so I started to work that muscle again. Okay. My network marketing business, clearly I was totally immersed in it. I was around 7-figure earners a lot because I threw myself into it. I went to events. I got on every call that I could. I just became a student of the game. I immersed myself in it. I feel like people fail because they think that they can, let's just say we're going to, jump into a pool. They dip their big toe in and they don't cannonball in, Eric. And so that is the secret. You can't half-ass anything. I'm sorry if that offends you, but like, if you want to go, you got to go all in. Otherwise, your friend's going to call you to go on a 3-day bender, and guess what? You're going to do it. And you're going to get off your personal development game, or you're going to start hanging out with people that smoke all the time and or whatever. I'm just making stuff up right now, but like, you're going to get off your game. And that's the key, is immersing yourself in it, total immersion, so you can stay focused. It takes a lot of focus to achieve great resilience. It's like you have someone return their products, you have someone say your coaching program sucks, you have someone blast you on social media because they're psycho. Like, are you going to be able to come back from that? Or are you going to shut the doors because of one person? It's everything.
It is. This is profound. And I think that we're going to all have this element of feeling failure. It's about how you really look at it and creating that successful failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of changing that approach and becoming, like you said, resilient and having an emphasis of really truly connecting to your purpose further, no matter what, being all in and wanting to achieve that on a regular. And I think that that's been an ongoing factor in, conscious leadership, conscious creation, resilience, purpose. And what I love is so many heart-led leaders like yourself that continue to contribute to the world because you're seeing that that's the reason that you've been put on this earth.
Yeah.
And I think that that there's such a disconnect sometimes, that people so many times think that life is owed something to them.
Right.
But the truth is that it's the gift that you're supposed to utilize and build every day as a way to continue to add value to the world.
Yes, 100%. Like, what can I give? I think so many people are like, what can I get? What can I get from you, Eric? What am I going to get from this meeting? What's it? Instead, you reverse it and say, no, what can I give? Like, what can I give to this person? What can I give to this day? How can I show up today? And the psychology is so different, and the frequency is so different, honestly. If you look at the frequency scale, I mean, gratitude is one of the highest ones, right? Up there with joy. And so it's like changing it, and instead of like wanting things and expecting things, you literally show up so different out of service to others. And that's like where the magic is, for sure.
The magic. And it's pure magic, because that way it's like there's things showing up for you that you're just like, what? Like, just immense gratitude. So I just want to say I have tremendous gratitude for having you here today, because I know it's always a pleasure to connect. And, I'm grateful that you're able to find time to make it happen. But I really want to know, for those people that, are looking to connect with you and really, spend more time to understand what you're up to, and, really see how they can maybe get to know you better. What is the best way that they can reach out, connect, get to know more about you, find, pre-register for your book, any of the resources you have available?
Well, I gotta get the pre-register thing going here. No, honestly, Facebook or Instagram, it's Emily. Okay, so that's my Instagram. Connect with me on there. I'm doing everything from like my body program to my nutrition program to I'm starting an academy here. Well, tonight actually, while we record this. But yeah, connect with me there or it's emily.com. But Instagram, like day to day, is always fun. So
beautiful. Amazing. So make sure you guys go check out It's Emily on Instagram. Emily, she has a lot of fun stories that I've followed, and she's super hilarious. I absolutely love it. Great energy. Last question. And I ask everybody this question because I think it's super profound. If you had 3 days left to live, what would you do?
Oh man, I'm gonna cry. Wow. You know what? I would take my closest people, my mom and a couple friends, and I would go somewhere beautiful, like somewhere, I don't know, Italy, and just spend time with them. And I would probably record some stuff for my legacy, some of my greatest lessons. And I would make sure they got out to the world so they could serve people. And yeah, that's what I would do.
Amazing. Emily, I just want to again acknowledge you, the brilliance that you're putting into the world. I thank you. I appreciate you. Is there anything else that you want to add before we
No, you're amazing. I'm so blessed to connect with you, and I can't wait to continue to learn from you, Eric. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Emily. Much love. We'll talk soon. If anybody's on there, make sure that you're checking out Emily. Go check her out on Facebook, Instagram, everything. It's emily.com. She's amazing. She's awesome. Check her out. Love you guys. Ciao.